Hey everyone, it's Bennett, your fantasy football commish. We have week 7 of the NFL season in the books, which is halfway through the fantasy football season. So it's time to start winning games if you're at 500 or maybe a little below. This was a very good week in terms of scoring, especially there was 6 real-life teams on byes this week. But yet the scoring in the league didn't suffer too much. Especially last week, we had only one high-scoring game. Everything else was low. So a lot of points and also a lot of close games this week. So let's get right to it. The highlight of the week, one of the games that came down to Monday night was you got beat by a girl with their first loss of the year, losing to the Idaho Darth Taters, who improved to 4-3 with a win. This was a very high-scoring game. It was very close the whole day, back and forth. The big scorers for the Darth Taters was Fred Jackson, Adrian Peterson, and Tom Brady. No one blew up too much, but just a consistent score all around. They only had 3 people on a bye, so they weren't hurt too much by the byes this week. And you got beat by a girl, very steady. Another great day from Aaron Rodgers and Robert Griffin. And was down by about 20 points, 21 points going into the Monday night game. And Matt Forte had a really, really solid game. Didn't quite get 100 yards and didn't quite get in the end zone or get any catches. So he gets 12 points, needed another 9 points to tie, and then 10 points to overtake the Darth Taters. So you got beat by a girl, does a good job making it close, and needed a little bit more from Matt Forte on Monday night, and they lose 161 to 170. So good job, Darth Taters, knocking you got beat by a girl off the undefeated ranks for the year. She still is Sarah's team still in first place in the Mish division. The other close game that came down to Monday night was Chicago Travelers getting a much needed victory. They stay alive in the playoff hunt. They go to 2-5, pushing last year's runner-up. 2 years ago's winner, Doreen Ciara's team, third and Oolong, down to 2-5. So both teams are now 2-5. So both teams are hurting a little bit, but the Travelers definitely needed that win. Got a really, really good game from Chris Johnson, finally. I'm sure Temmy's been waiting all year from Chris Johnson. He's one of those guys, does nothing all year, but you have to keep him in there most weeks. And actually, now that you look back, he's had 4 god-awful weeks, but he's had 3 really good weeks. This week was his best week, 195 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, if Chris Johnson and Ray Rice can stay healthy the rest of the year, then Temmy has a chance to get back into it. Also, that 70-plus yard touchdown for Victor Cruz helped at the end of the game. That probably got him almost half of his 29 points right there. And then coming into Monday night, was down by about 6 points, give or take, and had the Detroit kicker and the Bears defense, and luckily one sort of trumped the other and got him enough points to win by 9, because the Bears defense was so good that Jason Hanson didn't get a chance to get any points for Detroit, but the Bears defense themselves got enough points, almost got the shutout. They would have had even more points, but 14 points from the Bears. That defense has been great all year, and 169 to 160, the Travelers over third and long. Other games of note, we had the first game between the 2 Forrest brothers, Greg and Matt. Pretty close game. Matt really kept it close the whole way, but towards the end of the afternoon games on Sunday, Greg pulled away. He ends up winning 158 to 129 to go to 5-2, tying for first in the Mash division, and the Stallions lose an opportunity to gain ground in the Mish division. They fall to 4-3. So even with Cam Newton not being that good this year in real life, he's still getting a lot of fantasy points. Vincent Jackson had an amazing day, and Frank Gore had a good day as well. That was on Thursday. So the Calvinators, not a spectacular day, but very solid, get 158 points with 5 people on the bench due to byes. Meanwhile, the Stallions had a nice effort, not enough from the quarterback That's really where it hurt. Only 3 points from Christian Ponder with Peyton Manning on a bye, so that obviously didn't help. Did get a lot of points from Randall Cobb and Marcus Colston and Arian Foster, of course, but not quite enough. So big brother falls to little brother, 158-129. Two other games. We have the Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy and the Catonsville Cartel. The Cartel are just having a brutal year. Finally traded one running back to get the quarterback, and then the quarterback goes on a bye. Maurice Jones-Drew gets hurt. Now he's out. Still managed to make a respectable 106 points, but obviously with Vic and LaShawn McCoy on byes, didn't help. Plus Greg Jennings has been hurt. So a little bit of a lost year for the Cartel. And Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy is very solid. It's won 4 in a row. They're up to 5-2. Of course, Drew Brees and Eli Manning at the top for quarterbacks really helps. Jordy Nelson had a good day. And even with DeMarco Murray hurt and a couple people on byes, and -1 from the Ravens defense of all things, Ray Finkel's Kicking Academy has been quiet and solid all year, and they've got a good team. So they win 142-106. Last game to talk about, which is the Slim Aussies and the Lionesses. Lionesses have had a weird year this year. They've been really, really up and down. Of course, last week, week 6, the Lionesses scored the second most points in the league, but of course fell to by 39 points to You Got Beat by a Girl, who scored the most points in the league. And then followed up by only getting 78 points this week. So the Slim Aussies get away with one. They only get 129 points, bottom third of the league for the week. Just no one really blew up for the Slim Aussies. Andrew Luck had a pretty good day, and Dalton not so much. Also with a lot of byes, both Willis McGahee, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Turner on byes. So I was definitely hurting last week. Plus Calvin Johnson just did nothing till the end of the game. The Bears defense on Monday night was fantastic. So nothing special there. 16 points from the Patriots defense as a fill-in for the Falcons, who were on a bye. So, but the Slim Aussies will definitely take the win to move to 4-3 to tie for second in the Mish division. And the Lionesses fall to 3-4 with just a tough, just no points whatsoever. It's just one of those days. Other than Jay Cutler probably should have started over Russell Wilson. Jay Cutler had 14 points, and Russell Wilson against a really good San Francisco defense on the road. Probably not the best start of the week. Probably should get the bench stud of the week honors, but wouldn't have made much of a difference. Single-digit scoring for almost everybody. Really, the high scorer was the Texans' defense against Baltimore. So the Lionesses still right in it with 3-4, but definitely I think it's the second double-digit point total of the year. So got to get at least 100 points if you're going to win in this league. So tough break there. So that recaps all the games. Take a quick look at the standings. Like I mentioned, You Got Beat by a Girl takes their first loss of the year. They're still sitting pretty at 6-1. The Slim Aussies gain a game on the Stallions to tie for second, 4-3, and the Travelers getting a much-needed win going to 2-5. Of course, the Cartel are out of it. And then in the MASH division, we have two teams tied at 5-2, the Calvinators and the Kicking Academy. That's going to be a fight all year. Both teams are very solid. The Darth Taters still in it at 4-3, and the Lionesses at 3-4, and even Third and New Long's not totally out of it at 2-5. So we're getting towards the end of all the byes. I think about halfway through all the bye weeks, halfway through the season at 7 weeks in. So 7 weeks left in the regular season. Still time to make a run, but after this, it's going to start getting harder. So get your wins in, get your lineups in, get your bye players out. Don't forget about the Thursday night game, and don't forget to pay me money. 4 Adams Lane, West Hartford, Connecticut, 06117, $25. Most of you have paid, some haven't. Send me a check right now. And everybody have a great week. Signing off.